Anyone can sell electronics. At Electronics Expo, they do more than sell products. They design, install, and support complete technology solutions. From home theaters and whole home audio to lighting, shades, automation, networking, security cameras, and premium entertainment systems. For over 22 years, they've helped thousands of homeowners experience technology at its very best. See the difference for yourself. Visit their Wayne or Paramus stores in New Jersey or shop now at electronicsexpo.com.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Congressman Pat Fallon from Texas. And Congressman, it's so great to have you on. Let's first get to Iran. Where do you think all of this is headed? Because even President Trump said, it looks like the ceasefire is over. He's fed up. He's calling Iran scum. He's, saying, you could tell he's calling them liars. Where do you think this is going?
Well, Rita, John, I hope you had a great 4th. Happy 250. The problem with Iran is the IRGC. The Revolutionary Guard there, you cannot trust them. You can tell they're lying when their mouth is moving. And I've been saying this all along throughout this process. You have to break their back. And doing so, then you can actually form, an agreement, and then you can have peace. But until that happens, this is going to be ongoing.
What do you think of the way this is going with President Trump, too? Because clearly, Congressman, he's, fed up with them. He seems like he's sort of hit a brick wall. We're going to be talking later on with Brigadier General Blaine Holt. But yesterday, they had a rerouting of Air Force One, the brand new Air Force One. And right afterwards, President Trump said, I know I'm number one on the hit list for Iran. I mean, you could tell they're very worried about security. I think he feels like they clearly have not been honest brokers, even the ones that he thought were, quote, more civilized, if you will.
If Iran wasn't pursuing a nuclear weapon, this would have never happened. And when you enrich uranium, when you get to 60%, you're pretty much there as far as weaponizing. It makes it very simple and easy. Every single nation state that has enriched to 60% went on to produce a nuclear weapon. So that's where Iran was and what President Trump was saying. And by the way, all the other presidents, Democrats included, Obama and candidates, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden, all said the same thing. They would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Well, they were on the precipice, and President Trump said, okay, you either give it up or we're going to have to hit you. And he hit them hard. And again, they're not negotiating good faith, and we are where we are now.
Now, we got a report. Did you tell the congressman about the report we got? That Iran is being hit right now, and the United States said it wasn't us.
And Israel says it's not them. Us. Yeah, so what do you think?
We got General Blaine Holt coming on later on, and he's checking it out.
That's an interesting thing. If it's not Israel or the United States, certainly Iran has been hitting their ally or our allies in the region. And I don't know if it's one of them. Time will tell. But at the end of the day, if we want a world to live in that is safer, because it's this world getting smaller by the day, you have to have that regime removed from power. It's that simple. Yeah,
I mean, look, the Persian people are civilized people, but that Iranian Guard, they're crazy. They're nuts. And, I agree with everything that President Trump said the other day.
Yeah. Well, John, also 80% of the people in Iran hate this regime. So they have no.
I think they're wrong. I think it's closer to 85 or 90.
Yeah, right. Now, right. Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, you know who we have? We have the Israeli former ambassador to Israel calling in at 1 o'clock in the morning from Israel.
Yeah, Michael Oren calling in. Yeah,
we'll get a better intelligence then.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Congressman, let's get to what's happening with politics here in America. You got Graham Plattner, who dropped out. Thank goodness. I mean, it's just shocking that the Democrats allowed him to go as far as he did. How do you think that affects the midterms? And what do you think it says about the Democratic Party, that they were willing to turn a blind eye with the Nazi tattoo, with the anti-cop rhetoric, with the anti-ICE, with the accusations of assault? And then finally, it's a Democrat who alleged rape, and they decided, okay, no, the polls are not good. Maybe we should push him out.
Rita, you mean the Nazi rapist, anarchist, communist, allegedly? Yeah, that guy?
Yeah, that guy.
No, as long as he's a socialist or a commie, we're going to just push him through. To see Elizabeth Warren now praised this guy and Bernie Sanders. I mean, obviously it didn't age well, but it's disgusting. There were indications that this guy was a dirtbag all along, and not just one source. I mean, scores, dozens, if not scores of them. So anyway, good riddance on him. I think that it does have an implication for the midterms, because then you look closer at who these Democrats are now nominating, and they're nominating a bunch of AOC kind of sycophants that are not going to play well in a November general election. And I do think we're going to hold the House and the Senate because of it.
Congressman Fallon, there's going to be a revolution in the Democratic Party, and we have two common sense Democrats in the studio with us today, Governor Patterson and Judge Weinberg. What do you see out there? What do you see in Texas? Is there any common sense coming out anywhere?
Well, the Democrats in Texas are a bit different. Not all of them, of course, but some of them. And I was in the state legislature for 8 years. And, the Republicans, of course, are the senior partner in Texas. But we passed a lot of bipartisan legislation because you do have some conservative Democrats and certainly patriotic Democrats in Texas. That's becoming an ever-increasing rarity, unfortunately, nationally with the Democratic Party. And it's really frightening, and it gives me pause, John.
Well, I mean, guys, any thoughts? Judge Weinberg, you're a common sense Democrat. Governor Patterson, you're a common sense Democrat. Or are the troops behind the scenes amassing to get rid of the socialists? Because the socialists, when they ran nationally, the socialists would get 2%, 3%, 4% tops.
Because they named themselves socialists. The old Norman Thomas socialists. But now they've taken over our party.
They used foreign Representative Pat Fallon. Foreign money involved to finance those socialist party to take over the Democratic Party.
John, my Hall of Fame coach, Lou Holtz from Notre Dame, said it perfectly. I love Coach Holtz.
I do too. By the way, I knew Lou. I went to University of South Carolina. Of course I knew Lou, Pat.
Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful.
Absolutely love Lou.
He summed it up to us very succinctly. He said, the Democrats and Republicans a few years back had two different paths to the same goal. Now, with the advent of some of these far lefties that are being elected to office, it seems like they have different paths to different goals. And that's what scares me.
Yeah, it is scary. You know what's frightening? I was watching even last night, as painful as it was, I was watching, Graham Plattner and his woe is me speech. And in it, right away, Congressman, one of the first things he said was, we have to focus on what matters, healthcare. And then the next thing out of his mouth was AIPAC. Really? Healthcare for everybody, and let's go after AIPAC. I mean, what does that say to you?
Well, the one successful, flourishing democracy in the Middle East happens to be Israel, and they have legitimacy. They have a rule of law. And to be accused of things like genocide, when it was Hamas that started that war, it was Hamas that hid behind civilians. It was Hamas that were the tyrannical, really overlords of Gaza. And when Gaza has received per capita more aid than even the Europeans under the Marshall Plan. So let's talk about truths and context. Israel is an example to follow, not one to eradicate from this earth.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is such a crazy mess. Well, I do think it is a gift to the Republicans because it's sort of, as we're talking about, common sense versus crazy.
Well, thank you.
Can I give you one perfect example of how crazy some of the left has become?
Please do.
We had a bill when the Democrats were in charge back in 2021. There was an amendment that was filed by one of the squad. And I think it was Presley from Boston. And she wanted to give voting rights to convicted felons while they were incarcerated. So I don't know where you're going to set up the polls on death row, but 98 Democrats voted for that amendment. Now, most of them did not, barely, but 98 did. And that's scary. That really is very telling.
Congressman Pat Fallon, we have to go. Thank you for coming on. I love Texas. I love that Texas song. We are going to Bruce Blakeman right after that, who's running for governor in New York State, and let's see if there's any common sense if common sense can prevail in New York.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Y'all.
Thank you so much.
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Tonight, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light Drafts. Friday, July 10th, first pitch is at 7 p.m. May the Force be with you on Star Wars Night with post-game kids glow around the bases with special lightsaber training packs.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.